If I could have watched this when I started my business, it would have changed my whole business. Today we were shooting the ultimate fall cleanup guide, and we were putting this on video for you to be able to excel at fall cleanups. Fall cleanups are huge in this industry. When we're transitioning out of that full-blown summer and we're going into the winter, there's a lot of money to be made there. If you're new to this and you don't know about the marketing, the sales, the education, the more education, like the pricing, this video is for you. You're gonna get a lot of gold nuggets out of here. And as I hit on education and then more education at the very, very end of this, you're gonna get the most from that. So make sure you stick around. This is where I really fucked up, and I didn't do enough here. And you can take this education points we're gonna go over, and you can take it into every other part of your business and make your business better. We're gonna start off with marketing. Obviously, you need to be able to get these jobs. You need to be able to get out in front of these people to get more work. We're gonna create a PDF and a guide, so you've got a lot of marketing ideas that's gonna go with this video. If you've got a book of clients already, you need to email market to them. You need to do door hangers. Your website, if you don't have one, you should be having one. It needs to have a page based on your cleanups. Like everything about your company needs to be talking about the services you do, and for this, the fall cleanups you do. You need to get loud and proud of this service. That means go everywhere with this. There is no silver bullet in marketing. There's testing and measuring, and there's doing a lot of different things so you get that volume of work in. Now that is huge, but probably the biggest thing to tell you, market a season ahead. Start prepping. Start doing these emails, these door hangers, these things early. It's already late to be marketing. Always market a season ahead. Gonna have a lot more marketing content in that guide for you. Now sales, this is the big part. There's a lot of different ways to do this, and I will run you through what we do, and I'll run you through some of the options. You're gonna be looking at all this stuff and judging off of how much time is gonna be involved of it, and then how much disposal there is gonna be in it. And so what we've done on the sales to make it where we have more success is we have an A, B, and a C price. So we like to give our clients options for everything. So the A price, that's just mulching only. There's some education in this that if you have a lot of leaves, it's not gonna make your lawn that nice. Like it's just gonna reduce the load of leaves. Now on the B pricing, this is like our average service that we shoot to sell the most. Like we try to stay in this lane. This is we go out, we do great coverage, we get almost all the leaves, but it's not like your white glove service. It's not, we get every little tiny speck. There's no warranties or guarantees. Then there is our C service, which is our top of the line, 100% leaf removal of stuff that's not glued to the ground at the time of us leaving. If they want to pay, to get the best service, this is what they pay to get. It makes high expectations of this service, and when you see all three of these in an estimate, you realize that this B service, it's gonna be good, but it's not perfect like this. If you just have one, people don't have any options, and two, people expect it to always be this if you just have one. This is what we've done to help our sales, to give people options, to make things happen. If you don't know what like your hourly rate is, you need to go and build that. This conversation is not gonna be that. Like if you wanna learn more about that, I've got videos on building your hourly rate. Get in GrowCom and talk to people about building your hourly rate, connect with all of us and work on that. But that's the first step, and then you can apply that to these because you're making assumptions. The other part about this is I want to, maybe I'll draw a little shield. Is that a good shield? I don't know. But now I want to protect us. Fall cleanups, there's a ton of variables. There's a ton of things that happen. There are so many issues. So we have a disclaimer at the bottom of our estimate that protects us, and that is our rate. That's $65, $75, $50, whatever your rate is per hour. It says, hey, this project is budgeted by the hour, and if it goes over our budgeted time, this is the rate we will charge in addition to compensate. You just never know. There are so many things. You might get all the leaves off, and then there's an inch of acorns. And that was just in one spot. It dramatically changes the job. So we use an hourly rate to protect our company, to make sure that we don't erode the profits, because our main goal here is to give the clients an awesome service. You know what happens when people do a fixed price? They do a fixed price, and then when they realize, wow, it's way worse, they start half-assing things. I've been there. I've been frantic about getting the job done, and then it's even more frantic when you got a team out there working and you're just bleeding out all this money, and this protects you. Even though maybe it's a little harder to sell sometimes, it protects the client. Make sure they get a better service. And if they care about working with a great company, they want to make sure you're profitable doing what you're doing anyway. We have A, B, and C services. That gives them choices, so they don't need to shop around as much. They can get choices just through us. We don't just say, hey, it's this much, and it just is what it is, or go with somebody else. Then we do hourly rates to protect us, and that's all stated. If this is your estimate, we have a terms of service, and that's like 20 pages long. But right on your estimate where it's like, here's your A, here's your B, at the bottom of each service, it states the hourly part. So this is right there. When they accept this, it is right there. You cannot miss it, right in front of their eyes. That's how you protect that. Now, another thing, you're gonna get a large volume of cleanups. You're gonna get so many calls because everybody's looking for leaf cleanups, and then someone's busy, so they're calling more people. Another option you can do to try to expedite this is sell an hourly cleanup from the beginning. Don't even just go out to the job and look just for the sake of looking. Tell them when they call, hey, we charge $65 an hour. I can go out and look, or we can just send you an hourly estimate to accept. We get a percentage of people who just do that. So now out of the hundreds of fall cleanups, when you're doing sales, it makes it where you can go do any more or even more. Because if somebody doesn't care, now we're dumping into this a little bit. In the sales process, we're educating because up front they're hearing our hourly rate. They know that's how we're gonna go out and bid. There's some people who say 65, 75, 85. They say that, oh, you're trying to cheat us or whatever, because they don't know what it's like to run a business and they don't know what it takes for your business to be profitable. And that's just their opinion. That's fine for them to think that. But now when you tell them, I just keep saying 65, it's just in my head. Now, if you tell them 65 and they think that, that's another deal. It saves you time because they weren't your ideal client anyway. So that's a little bit of education up front there. So that's the way we sell those. I want to give you another little gold nugget here. Use your phone with a camera. Well, I don't even know why I did a circle there. That's ridiculous. I'm trying to draw a phone. Use your phone with a camera to take a video that you can upload, put it in something, and share that with your team if you're out on these sites. So you make sure they're getting everything. This is just like a little gold nugget. I'm not going to go deep in how to do that. I'm just giving you the idea. If you've got teams of people, that's a way you can share and make sure these cleanups, if people are really specific, you know exactly what to do. We're going to step into the first education. With this education, when you hear that, what do you think about that I'm going to be saying on how you need to educate your clients? I take an approach of I want them to know all the bad things. So how does your team approach really, really windy days? We're gonna educate them up front. The hourly rate stuff. And we're gonna educate about what happens when the conditions are wet. What happens when we go over on time? What's a cap? If you're concerned on us going over, would you like to cap it? All these little different things of education. This is the stuff that saves your ass. This saves your ass on every job. If you can look at every job, what are the bad things that can happen? Got rain, fall cleanup took longer. It was windy, fall cleanup was more of a challenge. We had to bill an addition, $400 in addition to an $800 quote, and now they're in over 1,000. What are all the bad things that could happen to someone that you need to educate them on up front? This will save you everything in every part of your business. When one of these bad scenarios happens to you, you look at it and you're like, man, I'm gonna write that down and then I'm gonna educate on that next time. Why do I have pricing here again? This is such an important part of this. I was talking about the sales and pricing before. Now I want to talk about what this, I keep saying hourly rate. Well, I'm not gonna help you build your hourly rate, but you usually have teams out here doing this stuff. Maybe you're on your own and you're starting your company, but I want you to think about this. This is all the pricing that I was saying is per man hour. So what does that mean? If you're new to this, like I'm trying to make this the total guide for you, just to rock and roll and know what you need to do. So if you got people, here's your 2 guys. If you're there an hour, it's actually 2 man hours. And then that just keeps going. If you've got another person, you're there an hour, it's 3 man hours. So if your rate is 65 and they're there an hour, it's 3 times 65. We'll just do this because it's easier. I'm good with a calculator, I'm not good in my head. This is a big misconception. How do I add for this extra person? This extra person cost me $15 an hour, so I'll charge 20 because he's helping me and it's going faster. That's not enough. You gotta make more money. You need to know what it costs. I can't stress enough what it costs, what these people need to do to generate and cover the whole business. Because you've got a truck, other equipment, you have liabilities that you don't even understand yet. You've got other costs that you're paying for that you don't even think go to this job. This person, if they make 15, you should not be billing 20, you should not be billing 25. You need to know your man-hour rate. And your man-hour rate goes, if there's 3 people, you multiply it by 3 for every hour. If there's 4 people, you multiply it by 4. If you've got big cleanup crews, you need to really really be paying attention to this. You need to figure out what's efficient. Maybe that's always only 2 guys. Like for us mowing, if you have a 3rd guy, it just is garbage for efficiency. So know this, and know if you got a bunch of people out here, this is how you figure out that man-hour rate. This is how you bill accordingly, and that's how I estimate. I look, 2 guys can get this chunk done in an hour, this an hour, this in an hour. It's always been easier for when I'm doing my estimate. It's always been easier for me to think of it as 2 people. Not just look at it and be like, well, it's gonna be this many man hours, you know, because when we do this sales part, and I said, we'll go out and we'll give them a rough price, but it's still hourly if it goes over. So I'm still having to do a form of estimating, even though we've got protection baked into that. So that is my rough go over of man hours. You want to dig into that deeper, look up my video about man hours. If you want to get really in depth and learn to grow, get involved with GrowCom, and everybody knows about these man hours in there and how that gets built. Always open to answer questions. So we went through the sales, we've talked about pricing, we've talked about education, we've talked about pricing again, and now we're talking about more education. The reason I said more education is for the simple fact, I didn't know how much blood, sweat, and tears not educating cost you. I didn't know that a huge part of my sales process was actually going to become more education. When I walk on a site, I immediately tell them it's my job to try to find all the bad things that may come up. When that happens, you're not mad about it. And that's where you need to be looking. What are all the bad things that can come up in a fall cleanup? And list them up. You had to bill more. You weren't able to do it because of rain. You were delayed because of snow, and you didn't get them done this year. What happens then? Where do they fall? You know, what are all these things? So yes, I hit on education, but this is so important that it will change how you operate your business. Like this fall cleanup video just got to like a total level of like the ultimate gold for you to watch to affect your whole business. Because if you literally go through your services, and we're talking about fall cleanups here, but you go and list the things that are bad that could happen. When your office, if you got office staff, when they're calling to sell this job and they're closing this job, and they run through this list of the bad things, and then if it throws up a big red flag for one of these people, they can mention it then. Because the flip side of that is you're all the way down to the end of the job and you're wanting to get paid. And then you are a no good contractor trying to take advantage of everyone, when you just think, you blame it on the people. You blame it on the customer. Said my estimate that it's supposed to be hourly, and these people are just ridiculous. These people are just stupid. No, 100% accountability. You screwed up the education. And you thought you educated because you had the boilerplate in your estimate, but you didn't do the more education. You didn't take it a step further. You didn't make sure they knew all the bad stuff that could happen. And now, yes, because of yourself, you're not going to get paid what you should get paid. You are going to have problems collecting. You are going to have issues. You're going to get looked down upon. You're going to get bad reviews. All these things are going to come, even though your process is completely laid out and maybe it's 100% right and it's in your terms of service and it's in your estimate, but you didn't educate. You didn't educate enough. But if you can fall back on that education and you've told people all the things that you can think of, and then when new bad things come up, you can be lenient about it to that person. Then you can add it to your list of education, so you can do more and more and more education to make sure you make more and more money, and it saves you pain and time in the future. If I could have watched this when I started my business and just got the education, it would have changed my whole business. That's why I gotta stress that this is so fucking huge, that you take action and you start educating people on everything in your business. It'll make you a better employer. It'll make you a better business owner. It'll make you a better person. It'll make you have a better business. So if you got anything from this video, any value at all, make sure you like it and share it. And leave in the comments below, what are your biggest things that like the biggest problems that come up on a fall cleanup for you that you need to educate people on, that maybe you have been or maybe you haven't been so far. I'll see you guys soon.